Are you experiencing symptoms and there really is no reason? You've been to the doctor, they gave you a clean slate, they said, we don't know why, you're fine. And you're saying, no, I don't feel like myself, I'm tired, I'm more achy, I'm more moody, something's off. Well, I want to help you today figure out what that could be. There's 3 top reasons. We're going to go through each one of them and what you can do to start to improve upon them. So let's go ahead and jump in. Number 1. I'm doing everything right is what people are saying. They're talking about their diet. They're saying I'm exercising, I'm getting enough sleep, but things are still off. What is going on with my body? What is going on? Well, the number 1 reason that people have issues, well, these aren't in order actually, because these can be very different. I just started with this one, but it is the gut-brain immune axis. And what this is, and they call it that, is just that. It is the brain, the gut, and the immune system, which is in the gut mainly. They say 70%, the other percent being in your lymphatic system. And this axis is what they're talking about because they're in top communication, meaning it's of great importance for them to operate and function to effective and efficiently. They have to have that correspondence, not just through the vagus nerve from the brain down to the gut, but lots of other messages. And so if that system is off, then it's going to affect every other system. That is why when I start to work with someone, we always work with digestion and the gut first, because the gut communicates with everyone else. And so if that is off, you could be feeling all types of different symptoms based on inflammation. And chronic fatigue is definitely going to be one of them. The microbiome is so important. And one of the biggest things that I see actually is that when someone hears about, okay, well, it's bacteria, and they think, oh, I'm going to run out and get probiotics. That is not what you want to do, because unless you've been on antibiotics, then it's like, by all means, get starting on those probiotics. But the reason I tell my patients not to start there is because we look at the microbiome as kind of look at it like it's LA, right? Los Angeles, very populated city. And that is your gut, all of these different bacteria. But if you said, I'm going to go get at best 32 different types of probiotics, even though it says billions, that's where people think, oh, I'm getting so many. But you're only getting a certain different species, 32 at best, as of today that I know of 32 different species. So imagine you're putting 32 different types of people in LA, those same 32, those same 32, those same 32. You're not going to have that wide variety, and it is the amount of species, the different species, that make your unique microbiome work for your body. And so what we want to do is feed fruits and vegetables to supply bacteria with food, and then they start to multiply. Other things that come into your body begin to prosper, and they begin to create more colonies, and this whole community, if you will, in your gut starts to populate, and that makes for a healthy gut. It is the foods we eat and how we think and feel, stress, anxiety, holding on to things causes inflammation at a cellular level, and it definitely disturbs the gut. There's so many ways we can go down this road of gut health, but the gut, when it is healthy, it's producing serotonin. It has communications with our immune system, over 70% of our immune system through the gut. When it is not healthy, then all of these different systems start to have problems. And so the gut microbiome is very, very important. Your gut and brain, they're always talking to each other. It's not just the vagus nerve, but all types of information at a chemical-based level. And so again, if you have things like mood swings or memory problems or fatigue, you're looking at possibly a systemic inflammation inside the gut. And what we want to do for that is to start to eat and really start to change your diet. Inflammation is the precursor to all chronic degenerative conditions. I hope you heard that. All chronic degenerative conditions, which means something that's happening all the time. Your cells are degenerating, they're not getting their needs met. And why is that happening? It is because at a small scale there was inflammation. It didn't get resolved, and the inflammation begins to continue, and it becomes accumulative until all of a sudden there's a big red flag that you notice you have a symptom, and it is due to inflammation. And it started at a small level that you may not have felt or recognized, but that is how it starts, and it becomes accumulative. So the top 5, I said 7, but I put it down to 5, is our cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, rheumatoid arthritis, and cancer. And just to let you know, which you probably do, if you love holistic health and that's why you're here, is that every single one of those issues, well, let's say 4 for sure, have very, very extensive research on how to naturally help resolve those conditions. The one that we're still looking at and hopeful for is Alzheimer's disease. But I found this study, and I just wanted to throw it in here because Alzheimer's is climbing up, definitely due to what happened in 2019. We're seeing more people with Alzheimer's. But in this article by PenMed, it says, by generally improving neural, what a weird word, and cellular health, we can mitigate or delay disease progression. And study senior author, I won't pronounce his name, he's a PhD research associate professor of sleep medicine. In addition, reducing proteotoxicity in irreparable damage to the cell that is caused by an accumulation of impaired and misfolded proteins can help improve some previously lost brain functions. So there are tons of studies coming out on all different areas of how they are helping with Alzheimer's, but nonetheless, we are talking about this gut-brain immune system axis. And if we can, and again, I am not, go treat the gut. I'm about the whole environment. Let's help the cells. You help one cell, you help all cells. And as we start to get healthier through diet and lifestyle and living better, you're helping all your cells. Remember, Hippocrates says, let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. Well, you don't eat the food and say, go fix this. You eat the food, and the body is so brilliant. Your body is so brilliant. It knows how to heal itself. We just have to provide the environment and the right nutrients so our cells can begin to heal. Unhealthy diet and lifestyle, the most common reasons why inflammation starts. We can also look at trauma and emotional, mental things going on in our lives that can start that inflammation process because it weakens us at a cellular level. But an unhealthy diet, lifestyle, that's going to be one of the biggest causes. The beautiful thing about all this is that you get to choose the foods you eat and how you care for your body consistently. So that means that you have a lot of control over how much inflammation is in your body. That is why you don't have to say, okay, I'm going to go after treating this and this and this and this. But if you start to eat right, the body's brilliancy takes in what you're eating and distributes it accordingly, and you're supplying every cell with its requirements, and that is how it begins to heal. God knew what he was doing with your body. So inflammation can develop with stress, prolonged emotional suffering, negativity, and strife. And so that emotional and mental well-being is so important that you do that on a daily basis to take care of yourself emotionally and mentally. And we know the best way to do that is by reading the Bible and getting the Word of God in our heart, because that is medicine to our bones. It is the living Word of God that really starts to help our heart heal and starts to heal those emotions and help us to feel better. So you're still thinking, well, I'm doing everything right. I still feel tired. My diet is good. I don't think it's my microbiome. Well, what we've learned is from the medical community, it's reevaluating long-held beliefs about health, right? And I talk about this all the time. But reactions are revealing that the flaws in trusted science, and people are realizing not all evidence-based advice is rooted in truth. And so what I want to say to this is, science, when they do double-blind studies and all kinds of studies that are funded by particular interest groups, or they're held at universities, or one other group will pay another group to, have a study done for them, and they'll say it's third party, and we don't know, because now within what we've seen is that there's groups that are in cahoots. There's a lot of this, and the reason I'm mentioning this is because we have been programmed to think that if we go get a test, and it says that it's fine, that we're supposed to be fine, because that is how the medical community may evaluate that particular organ, or like that particular symptom that's addressed to this. We associate this with this. And what I'm saying is, when we step outside of that thinking, and we start to really think about our body as a whole, and how can we help the body as a whole if we don't know really what's going on inside of us, that is when we begin to immediately think, what I think is, we need to begin to clean up. We need to clean house. Because you can put in all the good stuff that you want, but if you don't eliminate the toxicity or what is ever harming environments within the different microbiomes. We have different microbiomes. It's not just the gut. We have them in the mouth. We have them on our hands. There's a whole microbiome in our nose, in our ears. Wherever there's an orifice, there's a little community around there. There's an environment. And so when we're thinking, okay, we want to get to that best level of health, we are thinking clean up first. Not just pour things in, superfoods are going to heal me, but get your body clean to the point that you can handle what comes in around it. Because remember, we don't catch colds. We don't go in somewhere and we just catch a cold. We're surrounded by ways that we could be sick all the time. But if our immune system's high, it is fighting. That's doing our battles. We don't get sick. So two people going into the same room, one person gets sick, one person didn't. That one person didn't happen to catch a bug and the other person didn't. It was that their immune system was weakened. Therefore, their body starts responding to purge, to get rid of, to encapsulate and fight whatever came into the body that shouldn't be there. So we need to just kind of start thinking, training ourselves to think a little differently about these studies, and just open our minds. It's not that science is bad or medical is bad. It's just that we have to start to think a little differently now that we're really gaining the truth of how powerful our bodies are designed to self-heal. So, in 2024, hundreds of medical studies were formally retracted, not because of updated evidence. They didn't retest it and then change their mind. It was due to fraud, bias, and manipulation, exposing how even peer-reviewed science can be flawed when driven by agendas or funding, what I had just said. The other part of this equation is, in the early 1900s, the Rockefeller Foundation restructured medical education in America by funding schools that aligned with their pharmaceuticals agenda. And I'm going to go through this real quick, but we know, because it's been proven and beaten at a Supreme Court level, that they were just trying to shut down holistic health. Because when they sent out Mr. Flexner, who is a reporter, to all of the medical schools and to hospitals and said, report back to us, Carnegie, Rockefeller, a board of a lot of money. They said, go out and tell us what they're doing. And so when Flexner came back with his report, and he was saying, wow, I mean, they're doing really good. This is when holistic health was spreading across the country with great results. Oh, there's hydrotherapy, there's chiropractic, there's herbal medicine. All these things were coming up with great results. And they said, uh-oh, They wanted the money, and so they changed the curriculum, and the end of medical school is 3 years, if not more, of pharmaceutical training. And so they're trained to think that way. It's not their fault. That's the schooling that they get, is when somebody has this, it's called a disease and we recommend this. It's just the training. And what I'm trying to help you understand is to step back from that and say, hey, wait a minute. Okay, I know my body is designed to heal. What is really going on here? That first one, the gut and the brain axis, is huge because it's affecting every cell. So if you get that right, you're really doing well. So this is an awareness of truths. Like, okay, why do I think I have this? And why when I do a search on Google, this keeps coming up? Just be open-minded. But always go back to the environment of my body is what's important, and you want to keep that environment healthy. As a result, natural healing methods, nutrition, and understanding the body as self-healing by design was systemically removed from the curriculum. No wonder they laughed at us when we said nutrition is important, and that the lymphatic system is next right in line of how we keep our bodies healthy. Those two systems, digestion and lymphatic, have to be healthy. So what they did is prioritize drug-based interventions, eliminated holistic, God-given approaches to health, creating a system that treats symptoms instead of restoring the body. And so that is the story of that. Number 3, your systems are not working together based on cellular health. Every cell has requirements that must be met. And I love this part of health, because I love talking about cells and cellular health, because it really simplifies health in a general sense. It makes getting healthy now not easy, but it simplifies it. So when someone comes in my program and we're talking about, okay, we're detoxification, okay, we're strengthening, now we're rejuvenating, it always goes back to the cell. And that is one of the biggest things that's different from holistic to medicine, whatever you want to, allopathic, however you want to describe that, is that their focus is more like compartmentalized, and we are going to treat this part and this part, where we are looking at the cell, and there's cells everywhere. We're not just definitely we can take things to help particular systems, but when we're thinking of health and getting to our healthiest state, we are thinking cells. We are thinking get cellular rejuvenation. We want our cells to be healthy. So we want to meet those requirements of our cells. People do not eat or live in a way that provides the requirements of each and every cell, and that's what starts inflammation. So how did this happen? It happens because we are not trained to think this way. It happens because diets are all over the place, different kinds of diets, a lot of misinformation regarding what to feed our bodies for fuel. But this is how, when I came up, I didn't come up with it. It was starting at 14 years old and reading the correct information that has never changed. What is the essential best fuel for your body, for every cell to thrive? It's going to be fruits and vegetables. Your body recognizes these foods. And so how did we get this way? We diverged off the path of eating real food. If you look at grocery stores, we have the produce section. We have this whole section of food that's like survival food. It's not really food. It's like things we can eat, but it's not feeding the cells. It's not nourishing them like they need. And then we have the other parts that are like dairy and eggs and bakeries, and we have the produce section, and that's where you need to be when you're shopping for foods to eat, because that is what's going to nourish your cells and help them to be healthy. So I just covered this. How do I fix it? You stay in the produce section. You start eating more real foods. You start a garden and start, growing your own foods, your tomatoes and all of those delicious vegetables that we are getting ready to start enjoying really soon here. So how do you fix this? By cells, and absolutely you can start to heal, you can start to reverse aging, you can start to get get these symptoms that are so indescribable, and we don't know why you're feeling bad and tired. Just start thinking along these lines. Get that gut healthy, get your digestion, start eating the right foods, you start minimizing inflammation at a cellular level all over the body, and see where that starts to take you, because that is the beginning. And a lot of times when you start to clean up the diet, you do start to feel better. Things that you'd never associated with eating well, all of a sudden you're sleeping better, and all of a sudden your headaches go away. And all of a sudden, after years of eating well and really detoxifying your body, you can see. You no longer need glasses. There's so many things. And I'm not saying if you eat well, you're going to get rid of your glasses. I'm saying that is possible. It happened to me. So it is personal experience that I got my eyesight back. I didn't do any surgery. Went to take my driver's license, and lo and behold, I could see perfectly fine. So what I want to say is, what you eat matters, and the cell will repair and heal to its best capacity. Not all cells are going to have the capacity to heal to its best level, but they want to. They're programmed that way. And give them the best opportunity by meeting their requirements, and that's what's really going to help you. And then, for you, formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I love that. God designed your body with built-in systems of renewal. We are not meant to decay and age as rapidly as we are aging and being as sick and full of inflammation and illness that we are seeing today. So our cells are meant to recover and repair and regenerate and be restored. And it is such a blessing to take someone through that path and see them come out the other side, restored in their health. Their hearts are healed, and they have forgiven people, and they have strengthened their identity in Christ, and they feel better. You can do that. You can get your body to start healing, and you can start to minimize these symptoms that are making you feel bad. So some examples of this, that we know the body heals itself, so we can't say it doesn't, because we know with wound healing that we don't take a cut and say, okay, we got to go to the doctor. No, we clean it, we make sure it has oxygen, and it begins repairing, and lo and behold, in 2 weeks we have repaired skin. Bone regeneration, calcium stem cells. The more we stress those bones, stand on those bones, weight bearing, we see bone regeneration. Gut lining repair. We know when we start eating right, and our minds and our hearts are at ease, and we feel peaceful, all those cells begin, I'm not saying all the cells begin repair, but cells begin repairing the best that they can. Cells have different lifespans, so some have 3 days, some have weeks, some have months, and some won't be able to, just based on the nature of how you have lived and what's going on in your heart. So we can't predict what your cells are going to do, but we do know in a good situation, in the way God designed it, that's what cells are designed to do. They are designed to repair and heal to the best of their ability. So the 3 truths: the gut-brain immune axis, your systems are not working together, and just being aware of medical misinformation. And so the last thing I want to do is, first of all, I want to say thank you for joining me for this little talk that I have had a hard time getting out of my mouth. lots of mistakes there, but nonetheless, I'm having a free ultimate 2-day virtual workshop. I'm talking about the whole health reset. I'm going to be explaining this whole system of how you can get your body to its best level of health, and how you can get your heart healed so you can be bold and confident and peaceful and calm, and during especially these times. We are in a time of a lot of uncertainty. And the more certainty you have, the less stress that you have. And what better way to get certainty than with God and reading the Bible, because His Word is true forever and ever and ever. And what better way to take care of the body is through natural laws, because natural laws never change. That is why it's so beautiful to have these two guiding laws and principles to take you to the best level of health that you can have, and so you can enjoy your life to the best of your ability. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to join me for the Whole Health Reset, it's happening in very shortly, so the link is below. I would love to have you there, and otherwise I hope you have a very, very blessed day.